So, I get the privilege and opportunity to introduce somebody who I've really gotten to know over the last year, but known for a few years now, who is an incredible human being. He cares so much about humanity. He cares about the earth. He cares about teaching. He runs the Energetic Health Institute. Super funny guy, super good-hearted guy, and amazingly intelligent when it comes to putting the pieces together and to teach. That's really what we all should become too, is teachers. And not, the education system is designed to make you really good with one subject. That's why, like, are you going to be a doctor, or are you going to be an engineer, or are you going to be a lawyer? So our system is set to be focused on one thing and be an expert at one thing, when really the education should teach us to be knowledgeable about many things. That's wisdom. And this man coming up here has much, much wisdom, and I'm super excited for him to come up and share all of his knowledge. He amazes me every time I talk to him, because he's always like putting pieces together and linking different things together. So please put your hands together, send lots of love and blessings to our dear friend, Dr. Henry Ely. Where is he?
Fear. Had enough of the noise.
He's got to make something.
Oh, how y'all doing today? Can we bring everybody out there back in the room with a big roar? We're going to do it like we do it at EHI. Give me your best wolf sound on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's actually not a bad start. Let's do it one more time. Everybody come back in this room. Hear what I got to say. 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness, it is so good to be here with you today. How many of you having a good conference so far? Right? How amazing this. Big props to Dr. Bryan Ardis right there. Big props to Dr. Janice Schmidt somewhere in the air. And huge shout out to my brother too, Dr. Ed Group. Give him some love, everybody. We're going to have some fun today. Now, I got to tell you, because I heard somebody commenting on that chat yesterday. They said I was unprofessional. So I went and slapped a parental advisory explicit lyrics on mine, because I was raised in a family that let the expletives fly, okay? And I'm going to say this to all of you. I've already talked to the big fella. He's all right with it. And if he's all right with it, you should be too. I won't drop no F-bombs. I'll bleep myself on that. But can I get an amen? Is it okay for me to be me? Hey, hold up. I don't feel everybody yet. Give me an amen. Is it okay for me to be me? There we go. All right, well, let's get it on then. What would our ancestors say about us today? I wonder this all the time. How many of you have wondered that question? Yeah? Okay. Give me some noise. I come from a big family. Give me some noise. All right. There we go. This is what Frederick Douglass said. Once you learn to read, you will be forever free. What you may not know about him, he's born slave, right? But he was never enslaved. Do you get me? He actually paid little kids with his own food to teach him how to read. You get me? So, that's true unless... who's that dude right there? Mark Twain, one of the best writers in American history, right? A man who won't read has no advantages over a man who can't. This is what Dr. Ardis was talking about. You got to read. It's all hiding in plain sight. Just, what's the word? Oh, give it to me better than that. What's the word? You got it. You just got to read. So a modern slave won't read, but a free man always will. If you are free, let me hear you howl. 1, 2, 3. I'm free too. Ow! Right? Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. And that's what Dr. Ardis is talking about in that last segment. You have the power to do this. We've already answered questions for ourselves, and we want to make the road getting there easier. But you have this power. And that's what this weekend is all about. You tapping into the power you already possess. Can I get an amen? Give it to me, Dr. Ardis. That's what I'm talking about. But this is a true story. There was a time I didn't want to read. That's your cue, John.
Henry.
There
Henry.
Well, Jono, I really don't want to talk about this subject right now.
What do you mean? Come on. I know you, man.
Yeah,
You want to help people.
yeah.
I think this explains the mechanism of action better than anything else.
Jono, I got to tell you, I think this guy is he's off his rocker, honestly. I think he's off his rocker.
He's right, and it's not right what they're doing, attacking artists.
That's ridiculous. It's definitely not right that they're attacking him, and I've clapped back on that. But I still think he's off his rocker.
Henry.
Oh, Jono, why are you on me?
You know this explains things better than anything else right now.
Dude, I don't want to talk about this at all.
Why not?
See, that's messed up. Because you just challenged me right there. Everybody, big round of applause. Welcome Jono Otto to the stage. Now, this is a true story, my brother. This is a true story. The only reason I'm here today is because this man right here stayed on me. And you know why he did? Because he loves me. I mean that. He stayed on me for what, about a year?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a year.
He would call me out of the blue. Henry, you really need to look at this. I don't want to look at this, Jono. Henry. And this is the nicest, pushiest dude you ever going to meet in your life. Right here. Right? So finally one day, he hits me up. And I got so pissed at him, right? I was like, it's like, Jono, you're pushing me. And I said to you, fine. What'd I say to you?
Yeah, you said, fine, I'll prove it wrong then.
I wanted to shut him up. And then 48 hours later, what did I say to you?
Ardis is right.
It took really less than 48 hours, folks, to see that Dr. Ardis was right. Because it was in there. Give it up for Dr. Ardis, the greatest researcher in the world today.
Right on.
Okay? But I got there because somebody loved me enough to keep pushing on me. And I got there because I decided to finally read. And then I called Dr. Ardis up, right? Because we hadn't even met yet. And I was like, dude, you're right. We talked for what? 10 hours and hours and hours just, and I independently confirmed. I didn't use any of his research. I did it all myself. That's how I knew he was right. So this man here, who's been doing such an awesome job, thank you, by the way, for all the love. Right, give it up for Jono Otto, right?
Thank you.
Thank you online, too. Give it up for my brother here. He's got something coming out. I want to give him just 1 minute to tell you about his next project because it's incredible. Go for it.
Incredible. Co-Venom is coming out actually this week through the Stu Peters Network. It's Co-Venom 2, Directed Evolution. And for those that haven't seen Disease in Reverse, it was just released, diseaseinreverse.com, an incredible 9-episode series showing some of the most excellent work from Dr. Ardis, Dr. Ely, Dr. Schmidt, and Dr. Group So we do a lot of detail there at diseaseinreverse.com. I'm just super appreciative to these beautiful human beings. Like, you don't know how much, I think you do, but maybe you don't know how much you mean to me. I've searched for a home when it comes to finding people that care and love souls more than they love their own egos. Mm-hmm. That love souls more than they love how people think of them. That want to see people better more than anything else, that when they see someone suffer, it actually crushes their souls. And that's the 4 people that are on this stage sharing with you. And I've sought out these people because I believe that their work needs to be in everybody's homes. And I believe that there needs to be more people like this, that these are the kinds of role models that we need in medicine. And I want to put the credit back on you that are here. It's not about who is on this stage, it's about you, because you are the stage. Nothing that's going on here is anything without you. You are the people that reach the people that are around you. We don't. They don't listen to us. They listen to you.
That's right.
And they kick back against you, and you guys go through hell having to deal with that, as we do in our circles, and you guys are heroes. Each one of you are heroes. I see you, I see what you're doing, I see how you strive and how you suffer and how you triumph and how you're here learning. You've taken time, energy, money to be in this place because you love people, because you are committed to humanity, to the future, and you see people suffer and you respond. I know who you are and I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here.
John O'Otto, everyone, my dear brother and the brilliant filmmaker. Come here, give me some. Love you. Oh, love you too. Oh, thank you. Is my mic good still? That was a good hug. We're going to practice hugging by the end of this too, by the way, so just get your hugs ready. It's about to happen. All right, everybody. We're going to read together. I want to show you what came out of that conversation with John over basically the next 40 hours, and a couple of conversations with Bryan as well, all right? So we start, like Dr. Ardis said, we start with, well, no, that's good. That's good. That's really good. That's not where I was going, but that's really, really good. We start with questions. We have questions, right? Here we go. My question was, why is D-dimer elevated? And this is what happened. It's elevated because there's a concentration, because of, look at that. Boop, 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 boop. Venom. As soon as I saw that, I was like, uh-oh. All right? And then we started going through more research and asking more questions and putting more things together. This is all in the art of cellular healing, by the way. And we're running through, and do I get to go back? Does it let me go back? Okay. And then we get to this. We start seeing symptomatology happening with the spike glycoprotein that mimics, guess what? Envenomation. See, I went about this an entirely different way. I wanted to understand mechanism of action. This one right here talks about it in the same way that you talk about what happens when you get bit. Now, I don't know about you. How many of you had your mama telling you that a snake bite was medicinal? Maybe you did. I don't know. Maybe you grew up in some place I ain't never been. But where I come from, we don't like snakes, right? That's not my cup of tea whatsoever. So we ask some more questions and we get to more research. Look at all this. Look at all this. I've already shared this. I got more stuff for you. This is old news. Whoops, what was that one? Right? We get into glycosylation. This is when it went ding, 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 ding. We're talking about the wrong things. It's a spike protein. Is that true? Hold on. I see there's question marks. You can feel it in the crowd. Is it a spike protein? What is it? Well, yeah, but come on. Let's talk. Give me the word. Spike glycoprotein. Write that in your notes. Write that in your notes, healers. A spike glycoprotein. Glyco means, what's up? Glyco means that it's sticky. And, oh, isn't it fun being a student? And now what do we get? The light bulb. That's why we're having
Ben non, supposé
This.
inverser. Moi, je n'avais une à la maison.
OK.
Je l'avais mis juste pour voir.
What?
Ouais.
Mais il
There's an
restait
interesting property about snake venoms. Different venoms do different things.
quelqu'un de me poser une question.
Whoops. Yeah, we can skip past that one.
L'eau d'osmose
Yeah, I know.
est
Wait.
versée
You're going to get all this at the end of the day, so you can be all right. It's going to be all right. Wanted to stop here. I got to give a shout out to Ed Group. You see where that arrow's pointing? You see that word right there? Urokinase. One of the questions I asked was, okay, the clots are forming, so then I had to ask another question. Why aren't they breaking down?
l'osmose inversée.
And that's because urokinase and the whole fibrinolysis, the breakdown of fibrin threads, these little fisherman nets that catch all the red blood cells and create the clots, it wasn't breaking them down anymore. You have to ask, why is that, right? Well, guess what's one of the things that breaks down blood clots? Urokinase. Where do you get urokinase from? Where's that group? Where do you get urokinase from? Right. From urine, right? So you might be thinking to yourself, what he's talking about is a little crazy. I'm going to tell you, I thought that. And then I started reading. And guess what? It doesn't sound so crazy anymore. In fact, I promised him and Jono, because Jono is on me about that too, that I'm actually going to try urotherapy after the conference. Right, Ed? The peer pressure worked. Y'all suck. No, just playing. So what we get here is hypercoagulation and things aren't breaking down. So then I said, okay, what else in nature does this? Well, what else in nature does this? E-Karen, something Dr. Ardis has talked about a lot. E-Karen comes from where? From a venom, right? Guess what it is? It's a glycoprotein. Guess what most venoms are? Glycoproteins. Are you getting it? So when I say we have to start using the correct language, you hear me. You're going to hear me later today talk about pharmaceutical industry, right? You're going to hear me say kill Gates, right? And I don't apologize for these things. I call things what they are because they lie to us all the time. They lie like a reflex. If they're moving their lips, they are lying. Oh, no, you can give it up for that. If they are moving their lips, they are lying. And you know out there online, you know when I say they, who I'm talking about. Can I get an amen? Now, guess what prevents blood clots from being broken down? No. Try again. Another glycoprotein from a different snake. Now I'm going to cliffhang for my brother Bryan right there for his next segment. But I want you to know, what was I looking at? Mechanisms of action. What does the blood clotting and what prevents it being broken down? Two different snake venoms. And that's when it went bing. Now we're explaining D-dimer. Remember the original question. Why are D-dimer levels going up? Have you ever heard of D-dimer before this damn thing? Props to Dr. Where's Jono? How do I say his name? Shetty. Is Shetty? Shetty. Dr. Shetty, we love you. You were right on it, brother. Way to go. Give Dr. Shetty a big round of applause. There are some people throughout the world who have been all over this. He's one of them. So then we find Carlo Brogna's work. And look at this. This is the paper that Dr. Ardis references all the time. Look at all this. This is what came out of people's poop, even though they had never got bit. Venoms from the Malayan crate snake, the cobra, the coral snake, the the Chinese cobra. Can you please, because I'm a Occam's razor dude. Can you please tell me how somebody never got bit by a snake, got snake venom in their poop? Stop for a second. Can you please explain to me, like I'm 3 years old, how somebody who never got bit by 30 different snakes and stupid cone snails and whatever stupid ass things they're doing, see, it finally came out, whatever stupid ass thing they're studying, can you please explain to me how that showed up in the poop? And does anybody have a plausible, rational thing? Because I'm open. Because they're trying to kill us. You have to stop for a second and accept what is happening. It's the only way to move forward with courage. Give me some. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I already know what I know. I'm here to help you open your ideas up, to consider things that might make you a little uncomfortable. Because when you consider things that might make you a little uncomfortable, something special happens. The mind starts working on solutions. The mind starts thinking about, well, what can I do about this new problem? We love to problem solve, don't we? How many of y'all play little games on your phone where there's problem solving games, right? This is just a game to them. So let's make it a game to us too. But let's be better at this game than they are. Can I get an amen? Okay. So then Carlo put this out. We talked about this yesterday. This was the new paper that came out showing that now we can finally tell whether the spike glycoprotein is coming from the infection or coming from the injection. Now we know how to do it. See, evil always messes up. Evil always does this. They couldn't have possibly realized some dude in Italy was going to break this down to the point where he could tell that there were only 2 amino acids different. But he did. He did. And now the world is going to be better for it. Because they will not make this test. But now they don't have to. We know the truth. The spike glycoprotein is produced incessantly by a weaponized microbiome. The bacteria and yeast in your body were the primary target because they're the easiest to genetically modify. I will prove that with no uncertainty tomorrow. Can I get an amen? This is the most important slide for me this weekend, and there's a lot of them. Do you see on the left? We have a bacteria, yes? Do you see that little funny squiggly thing in orange up there? That's exposed DNA. Why do they love bacteria? Because bacteria do not have a nucleus to protect the genetic code. It makes it easier to be genetically modified. So far, so good? This process is called conjugation because plasmids naturally occur in bacteria, and they share plasmids, genetic material, all the time. But these plasmids are coming from a lab. And this lab has given the plasmid antibiotic resistance. How many of you have been misled to believe that antibiotic resistance is because they overprescribed antibiotics? Right? That's a lie. That's a lie. Boom! It's a lie. In the early 80s, they started letting all these genetically modified, especially E. coli, out into the world. They blamed it on E. coli poisoning of spinaches and other produce. Haven't you heard this? Don't eat your spinach like Popeye. What did we teach kids way back when? Eat your spinach, you go strong like Popeye, right? No. Now it's, we're going to make people not want spinach. We're going to engineer. How do we engineer? Making people scared. Why are people scared? Because they don't read. Do you see the connection? They play upon your ignorance and your kindness. 2 things you're going to have to put into check. They play upon your ignorance and your kindness. I'm only kind to people who have love in their hearts. I'm an absolute asshole to evil people. And I will be that way the rest of my life. Jesus carried a bullwhip. And I love Jesus. Can I get an amen? So this process of conjugation, this plasmid, this bacteria will connect with a good bacteria. You see that? Right up here. See that? Say yeah, it's okay. We're talking. We're family. Okay. And then there's an origin of replication on this plasmid. What it does is it starts self-replicating, and now it shares. So you take all these probiotics that are supposedly good. What are you doing? You're just giving the weaponized bacteria more new recruits. The best analogy, how many of y'all saw The Matrix? Yeah? Yeah, it's okay. Don't raise your hand. Talk to me. I'm in a big family. Talk to me. Did you see The Matrix? Did you see The Matrix online?
Elle l'a réchauffé.
Yes, good. Agent Smith, right? What did Agent Smith do? He touched somebody, and what happened to that somebody? They became Agent Smith, right?
Elle va là-bas.
That's what's happening here. These weaponized bacteria are Agent Smiths now, which means we got to show you how to kill these bastards. And we're going to do that tomorrow. Can I get an amen? Okay? Now,
Ah, il était mardi, mercredi.
there's more stuff on promoters. I'll talk about that tomorrow. But I wanted to end with this because I want to give a shout out to my cousin Bridget, who's in heaven now. We love you, Bridget. I got a call last December. Kevin knows this. Wherever Kevin Jenkins is, he knows this. I got a call. Where you at? There's my brother right there. I got a call. I got a call from my cousin, freaking out. Her mom, my cousin, my other cousin, eyes had rolled in the back of her head, and she just went on one of those stiff board pass outs. She was in the ambulance, heart was racing. She was having multiple heart attacks while being unconscious. Daughter is screaming. The EMT techs are freaking out. They've never seen anything like this. I'm trying to calm everybody down and get some treatment going. We get her stable for a couple of hours. And then I said, I need you to run a D-dimer on her right away, because we will have to start administering some heavy anticoagulants if this is true. Now, the normal for a healthy or good D-dimer is under 0.4 micrometers per milliliter. This is what my cousin had. I got to tell you, the sad thing for me was knowing she was going to die. She was already unconscious. She had had at least 4, 5, 6, 7, who knows, heart attacks. What do we know the spike glycoprotein does? Myocarditis, anyone? Pericarditis, anyone? Blood clotting, anyone? She is riddled with clots, because D-dimer is what happens when clots start breaking down. She's forming clots faster here than she can break them down. It's like putting that stuff, anybody seen that weird, scary, like Body Worlds exhibits? Right? You know what I'm talking about? Aren't those creepy? Those are creepy, right? I never went to see one. I was like, that's just, no, I'm not doing that, right? You can tell when something's wrong. That's wrong, okay? That's what was happening in her blood. Now that sucks, right? It only sucks, though, my people, if we let the people who have gone before us die in vain. We have to take these horrible tragedies and turn them into something good. And the way we do that is by becoming the greatest energy. Somebody doesn't want to hear it. I don't give a damn. Jono, I didn't want to hear it with him, and who won? The greatest energy. He prevailed. And thank God he did, because I wouldn't be on this stage if he didn't. Right, Doc? You see what I'm saying?
Michel et tu fais glacer les affaires.
If your love is greater than another person's stupidity,
2 heures. Là, tu n'as pas le temps.
then
de
make
te
sure
dire,
you remember that.
mets ça dans un plat,
And
forme
let your
un couvert,
love
tes
be
salés.
greater than their stupidity.
Quand c'est
Keep
encore
hitting
chaud,
them with it. Keep hitting it with it. Do it soft. Do it hard. Go around the corner. Do whatever you got to do. But if you really love them, grab them and make sure that they understand how much you love them. Can I get an amen? Online, can I get an amen?
cacher des carottes, des patates,
Good. See, this is what I like. So what distinguishes a student from a patient?
de crème de tomate.
Go ahead and read that for me.
Moi, je
What is a patient?
Le matin, je mets ça sur le poêle. Le soir, c'est prêt à mettre. Ouais, mais au micro-ondes, c'est pas bon, ça vient poter. Je mets pas ça au micro-ondes.
He who suffers and endures misfortune.
Une feuille de papier d'aluminium. Mets ça là-dessus, je coupe le morceau
That's
en
the
deux.
energy of that word.
25 minutes à 200.
You want to know why I will never take another patient in my life? Because I understand what the energy of that word is now. I will not work with anyone who suffers and endures misfortune. Period.
Extrêmement difficile.
We have to raise the vibration of our planet, and that starts with understanding the vibration in the words we use. I'll tell you this too. You blaspheme in front of me, you're going to hear it. You understand me? Why? Because there are some things that are sacred, and they will only be sacred in as much as we protect them. Can I get an amen?
J'ai ramassé la sauce
Now, what's a student? Read that one.
mélangée avec de la crème de...
A student aspires.
C'est bon, mais la sauce est comme...
That's what you all are. That's what all of us are. We're students.
J'ai le gel, gèle la sauce.
I aspire to know, which means I have to ask
Des poils
questions.
de légumes
So a free man reads, a student asks questions, and a doctor does what?
mélangés.
You got it right. Who said that first?
Faut pas à peine de commencer
Who
à
said it first? You better catch this.
Ceux-là, ils
Boom.
sont censés d'avoir...
An apple a day. There, give it up. An apple a day keeps who away? Why don't we teach that anymore, right? You got to think of these things. Everybody, go to your phones. Oh, yeah, I'm a teacher. You're going to work. That's what this is about. You paid to work. Go figure that out in your head. I want you to do a quick DuckDuckGo or whatever search engine you use. I want you to type in WHO
Cherche des solutions plus simples pour
logo
l'affaire, là.
and go to the WHO logo. Go to the first one from the WHO where it gives you the definition of it.
Neuf sont bons.
You ready?
Ton chum, es-tu content de ça?
Who's got it up? Come here. Come here. Yeah, you. Come here.
Quand tu vois là, là, il voit encore officiellement, il est encore à l'emploi.
Ooh, you gonna get in trouble. Read it to me.
The logo consists of the WHO emblem and the words World Health Organization or WHO protection of the WHO logo and emblem. The use of the WHO logo is restricted to institutions that have an official collaboration
Let me
status.
help you out. We're gonna actually click on something here because that's what Google telling you. I don't care what Google says.
Hey, voyons donc.
It was selected by the First World Health Assembly.
Financièrement.
What
Oui,
does
ben
it say
là, tu vas
right
avoir
here? What does it say right here? Read this paragraph right here.
The staff with the snake has long been a symbol of medicine in the medical profession.
Lie.
It originates from the story of
Asclepius.
Asclepius,
True.
who was revered by the ancient Greeks as a god of healing and whose cult involved the
Wait,
use
stop. What did you just say? Who's what?
the cult.
Wait, who's what?
Whose cult?
Wait, say that one more time.
Cult.
Thank you very much. What's your name?
Jetta.
Give it up for Jetta, everybody. It's all hiding in plain sight. They're a cult. They're a cult. Let me say that again so you get it. They are a cult. Did you know that before today? Because they sure act like it, don't they? They have all the trappings of a cult. Belief system over facts. All the trappings of a cult.
Ben,
Look at that logo closely. Everybody, take a look at that logo.
Des rimes carrées, là, comme ça.
What do you see? The world. Do you see the world on it? Do you see the world online? Do you see it? What's laid over the world? A target.
si je regarde quand j'ai lu le livre Le choc du futur, c'est une thèse du
Like you'd see on a gun scope.
c'est pas
What's underneath it? Laurel wreaths, a symbol of victory.
tout mon vrai. Mais il donne pas de
Now, this is supposed to be the World
justification.
Health Organization, right? Can you explain to me why there would be a picture of a snake
Les bébés boomers ont
on top of a target over the world?
Ils ont garagé le monde dans les universités.
I'm here. Hit me with it.
Ça a fait monter les salaires.
An apple a day keeps what?
Il y avait un plateau.
So why isn't there an apple on that target?
Et redeviendrait.
Can I get an amen? When people tell you who they are, believe them.
On paye rien que Joe Louis 17. Le Joe Louis va revenir.
Now, how many of y'all feeling a little chilly right now?
Parce que ça va être.
They expect to win. Guess who else expected to win?
Zone artificielle.
Ben oui,
Ça a
ben
tout
oui.
fait monter.
Ben,
The Nazis.
quand ils ont enlevé
And we kicked their asses once.
hors de l'argent,
Can I get an amen?
l'histoire de la crise
And we're going to do it again.
70,
Whoa, I didn't hear that with confidence. We are going to do it again. But finish the job this time. The job's not finished. I will show you tomorrow why I say that. Just like Kobe would say, the job's not finished. So if you ever see me and I don't look happy, it's because I'm thinking to myself in my heart, loving all of you, the job isn't finished. Can I get an amen?
Hey, c'est rendu 4000 $ par mois.
I will.
Après ça, il vient de me dire que c'est pas juste pour.
So now you got, what is a healer? A healer is a person who selflessly facilitates the healing in others
Curieusement, ben, ils viennent à bout de trouver
while
des-
knowing
des-
that the
des
only
dépenses.
person they can truly heal is themselves. How many people have I healed in my 25-year career? How many? One. How many people are you ever going to heal in your entire life? One. And that's all it takes.
ça va bien, ça coûte pas cher.
It's a different understanding. It's very different than fix me, Mr. White Coat, Cult of Asclepius, God. Isn't it? Don't they act like little gods with a lowercase g?
Il y en a un, toi, qui
Right?
il y en a un char électrique depuis pas longtemps, là.
Because a healer, above all, restores God's divine order. Can I get an amen to the Most High?
Une charge pleine, ça coûte pas 5 piastres.
And now our hearts are one. So, how many in here? That was actually the prelude. How many of y'all ready to go to work now?
Les poignées, là,
You ready? Okay?
monter les,
Pins to the ready.
On va avoir un autre tarif.
là, ouais, c'est ça.
I better see notebooks and flames coming off them.
Il y en a des,
I will shut up and waste time if I don't see writing. Y'all ready? We're going to make, me and Dr. R is going to make your hands hurt by the end of today. Here we go. Stay with me. This is going to be fast and furious. Buckle up. There's too many slides in here. You will get them tonight so you can read what I can't get to. Can I get an amen? Let's go. We have a world to heal, and we need healers now. Amen? What are you? What are you? What are you? Can I get a how? That's the sound of a healer right there. This or that. There isn't a bigger lie in medicine than safe and effective. Not a bigger lie. People are like, I'm getting a little uncomfortable, Dr. H. Good.
Mais non, le domiciliaire dépense trop.
I'm going to make stupidity uncomfortable all the time. Here is the vaccine median excipient summary from the CDC. It tells you the ingredients that are in this crap.
ben, ils essayent d'aller la chercher où ils veulent.
This is 2017. What do you see at the top? I don't even need to go through the whole damn thing. What do you see at the top?
Michel, il monte à Montréal, il dit écoute, meilleur marché que mon
Human diploid, the first ingredient.
Elle veut plus se promener que le PM, elle veut se promener que le kiosque.
If I said to you, Mom, how many moms we got out here?
Le mot du choix silence.
If I said to you, Mom,
Quand je l'ai acheté, il dit
if I said to you, I need you to put this on a spoon and give it to your infant newborn baby. I need you to give them human cells from aborted human fetal tissue. That's what WI-38 is. You got to read. If you see MRC5 in there, you got to read. If I said you got to put, Mom, on there, you got to put on that spoon mercury and aluminum. Mom, you got to put nail polish remover. Mom, you got to put canine kidney cells and green monkey kidney cells. And you got to put yeast and red dyes and all that stuff. You got to put that on that spoon and you got to give that to your baby. Mom, would you do it? Then what makes you think putting it in a shot does it? That it makes it magically safe. And shame on every doctor who administers these now that we know what we know. Can I get an amen? They are going to like to hear this, but it's attempted murder. Call it what it is. And it's murder for profit. Ask your doctors when they try to pressure you, how much do you get paid in kickbacks for every damn shot that you administer? Can I get an amen? Is there anybody out there online tired of this like I am? There isn't a greater lie ever told than safe and effective. It's nonsense. Now look what the CDC cleverly does from 2017 to 2019. Boop! Deleted. Never happened. Do you think aborted human fetal tissue is still in these products? You bet your ass they are. 2021. This is after the FDA approves these damn shots. Guess what they're supposed to do? They're supposed to list all the damn COVID shots on the vaccine media and excipient summary so you can fulfill informed consent. What's curiously absent on the 2021 version of the CDC vaccine media and excipient summary? Not one damn ingredient from any of these damn COVID shots, these bioweapons. Do you think that's an accident? You're right. It's not an accident. It's intentional. Why wouldn't they want you to know what's in the damn shot if it's so safe and effective? What you got to hide? You're trying to be in my business all the time. I got to go and put my stupid palm up on the screen to check out and buy myself some organic fruit at Whole Foods now. So guess what I'm not doing? I'm not going to Whole Foods no more, right? Let me tell you, every company out there, you do some stupid ass shit like that, you are losing all of our business. Do we agree? You need us. We don't need you. But we better act like it, right? It can't be, oh, well, it's a little inconvenient. Yeah, you better take that inconvenience. Can I get an amen? Here's my point, healers. Vaccines do not give you immunity. They never did.
La Régie du logement a dit 4 C'est pas vrai, elle dit 2,5
You have to unlearn what you have been misled to learn. And how do you do that? By question. And when you question, what do you get to do? You get to read. And when you read, these Luciferians tell you the truth. It's part of their belief system. They have to tell you the truth. You have to willingly submit yourself to their, here's the key word, you ready for this? Let's connect some dots. To their dominion. Now you tell me that those damn voting machines called Dominion voting machines, that's by accident. My ass. Okay? Now you're starting to see some of the connectivity of what's going on in this world. They want full control over you. When I see my people in this world being marched back into slavery, my dad, who is here, who taught me all about the horrors of slavery from the time I was a little boy, I know that I'm going to fight every ounce, every fiber of my being against this push back into slavery. Please give it up for my father who came out to join me today, and my brother over there too. Thank you so much. I love you. Now that might not be convincing enough for you. I can hear the skepticism. Good. You should be skeptical. You should be as skeptical of them as you are of me. Because the only person that gets to decide what's right for you is, you got it. So what gives you immunity? You ready? We're about to roll. This is a teaching concept we have at the Energetic Health Institute. It shows you how you're connected. Emotion influences anatomy. Anatomy influences your physiology. That's how your body functions. Physiology influences your cell biochemistry. Cell biochemistry influences your meridians and your chakras, and energy flow through your body, and that comes out in emotion. It's all connected. So when you read emotion, which we all have a PhD in, you get to learn a lot about people. I asked a question last night, how am I going to teach this to all y'all? And do it in 37 minutes and 42 seconds. We're going to do it though. I want you to get the concept. You don't need to know the whole detail. The concept. Your body is designed to heal and it's designed to protect you. Can I get an amen? How? Your skin. So you heard the story. You heard the story of how we met, right? It was an instant bromance. Almost a little uncomfortable for both of us. It was instant, all right? And within a few... Can I tell you how I feel? Yeah, can I tell you how I feel? This is a good dude. Can I get an amen? This is a good dude that takes a lot of shit. And he shouldn't have to. Can I get an amen? This is the kind of dude we got to be willing to defend. Can I get an amen? Because this dude is on a mission from God. Can I get an amen? Now, this is my brother. I love him. This is a true story. I was out there by myself throwing elbows. Bryan was out there by himself throwing elbows. Ed was out there by himself throwing elbows. Well, Ed is really more gentle. He's like, nah, he's just sidestep stuff. He does a little bit, you know. And Dr. J is out there getting that same kind of flack, right? Why? For telling the truth, but we should only be getting flack from people who aren't on the side of truth, right? We shouldn't be getting friendly fire, right? This is what really pissed me off about everything that Dr. Ardis did. I was actually in a group, one of Peter McCullough's groups. Do we love Dr. Peter McCullough? Yes, that's a good dude, right? I was in one of his groups, and this was my last commentary for him. Dr. Ardis came out with the documentary Watch the Water, right? Now, we're all super busy. I didn't get to see it. But everybody started chirping about it and chirping about it. That's a good thing. The thing I didn't like in the group is a lot of these coward doctors, they started attacking him instead of attacking his theory. You get the difference? Our theories are just totally fair game. That's how it has to be. But when you start making it personal, now we got a problem. And I'm grateful to God that I had the integrity in that group to clap back at a bunch of those docs and tell them that this is my last day here. Not because I necessarily agreed, I didn't know enough yet, but I knew what they were doing was wrong. You get me? Okay? This guy is taking a lot of arrows, and I'm going to tell you something. He does it with grace. And what I love about him, you're probably going to hear me cracking up in the back. I'm not going to try that, but he makes me laugh so much, right? Because he's just a good dude with a good heart, and he's funny as shit. All right? I mean, he just is, right? So will you stand up, because we're here, because he brought everybody together. Will you stand up with me? Online, will you stand up as well? We can feel you. We love you. We can feel you. And will you help me bring to the stage Dr. Bryan Ardis?
Thank you, Dr. Henry Ely. Now everybody have a seat. How entertaining was that listening to Dr. Ely? Oh my God. I want to just applaud Dr. Janice Schmidt for her presentation this morning. Was that not incredible, actually? How simple life and health and the design of the body can be. And then Dr. Ed Group, just smooth talking, letting you know all the problems and how they're trying to kill you in every single way, air, water, food, you name it, vaccines. And Dr. Henry Ely just brings the, oh my God, that's awesome. The laughter, the humor about it all. And the truth is, for me, most of the time, things just have to make sense. And if they don't make sense, I'm going to go figure out why it doesn't make sense. So a lot of you have heard my story. A lot of you probably know who I am. There's a couple things I want to address, though, real quick. So Dr. Henry Ely, very passionate about the term white coats, medical professionals, how they, if they're running their mouths, they're lying to you. When I actually started speaking out in May of 2020 and hired a publicist to go into the media, it was because I actually read online. You keep hearing this term, read. I just happened to be at home and reading this memo, a three-paragraph memo on NIH.gov written by Dr. Anthony Fauci. And it described, if you know my story, a three-paragraph memo about an experimental drug called remdesivir that was actually going to be the only drug allowed to be used in hospitals around America for the first year of the pandemic. And that it was never FDA approved, it was just an experimental drug. And it didn't make sense to me why they were using an experimental drug that wasn't FDA approved. That was the first thing. But then he quoted this quote. It was found safe and effective against the Ebola virus in a trial a year earlier, and then in a 3-month trial for COVID-19 patients, January, February, March of 2020. This is in May of 2020. The memo was dated May 1st of 2020. I'm reading it on May 18th. And immediately I recognized that what the doctors in the media were saying was exactly what were the published side effects of remdesivir, which was acute kidney failure within 24 hours in 30% of all people you give that drug to. So when the medical doctors were being honest and ethical when they said, we've never seen a respiratory virus do this, from the time we start treating this new COVID-19 pneumonia, the virus goes from the lungs and within 24 hours is causing acute kidney failure, the virus, in 30% of all people we give these drugs to. The problem with that was, I knew that was a lie. I knew that's not what was happening, and I knew that was a misunderstanding of the medical doctors. But they were being honest when they said they had never seen a virus behave this way. That is true. However, there is something that every medical doctor does know does cause acute kidney failure and chronic kidney failure. How many times have you heard a medical drug commercial that said, make sure your medical doctors check your liver and your kidney functions often once you start taking our drug? You've all heard that. That is a blanket, don't blame us, ask your medical doctor, and it's your responsibility to find out, is the drug hurting your liver and your kidneys as you take it? The actual published side effects of remdesivir were exactly the same published toxic effects of a drug that's called vancomycin that started the acute kidney failure of my wife's dad in February of 2020, just 3 months earlier. And man, did I get hot when I read that, because his life was terminated early, and I was pissed. So angry my wife couldn't even grieve. She was more worried about me. But it's because I was educated on how the human body works and what chemicals and drugs and toxins do in the human body. And you can watch a body fail in front of you until they take their last breath. So I was just angry. So I wanted to take out all my anger on the hospital profession, maybe even family members. I was furious. I wanted them to feel the loss, anger, frustration, and pissed offness I felt. And then Anthony Fauci, thank God to Anthony Fauci writing that damn memo, because it allowed me to take my anger somewhere else. And that was, I'm going to make sure as many innocent human beings in this world know the truth about that drug remdesivir. I've been called the remdesivir guy all around the world now for, oh my God. Oh, wait, that was about a year and a half. Now I'm called the snake venom guy worldwide. It's amazing to read these articles in Newsweek, Associated Press, USA Today about you. And in every single one of them, I was wrong. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Remdesivir does not cause acute kidney failure. Really? 5 months of me spewing that in the media every day that I could from my dining room table in our kitchen. The World Health Organization comes out in November of 2020 and says we do not recommend this drug for a single human in a hospital for COVID because it causes acute kidney failure. And to this day, did you see what the FDA just did a couple weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. The FDA just approved remdesivir for individuals who enter a hospital with already current or chronic kidney failure. Really? Remember that whole cult that worships snakes? Only demented psychopaths would do that, I would think, actually, and not be able to rational common sense. All right, so you listen to Ely harp and yell and scream. I've been mad at, man, I'm telling you, when the naysayers came out and started talking about my venom theory, that it didn't have merit because I was a chiropractor. Those same professionals who were like, oh my God, we had no idea the medical profession and federal health agencies like the NIH were lying to us in hospitals about remdesivir. Who made them aware of that? I did. And I was relentless about it until they looked at the research and they figured it out. The only people who are talking negatively about anything related to venom and COVID are the people who are unwilling to look. However, there have been a few medical professionals. I'm just going to tell you right now, when I started speaking out, I didn't want any of you to ever trust a medical doctor ever again in your entire life, not even for a damn second. Even if they prescribed a Tums or an antacid. I didn't want you listening to them. That's how I felt when they took, in my opinion, someone early from my wife's life, her family's life, her mother's life, my life, who I adamantly adored and loved. And it was like an all-out assault for me. However, amidst that, it was very cool for me for Watch the Water documentary to drop, and then within 10 minutes, when I'm waiting for the backlash. In fact, I'll tell you, I told my wife for 5 months, once I figured this out, I was like, you know what, I already can tell you I'm going to be dismissed from every medical convention, every single stage. I'll never be invited anywhere ever again. But it didn't matter. If no one's ever known why I actually waited 5 months and then couldn't wait any longer to get that out to you guys, is because that same month, March of 2022, the FDA said they were postponing a meeting and we're going to move it to June to vote on giving the COVID-19 vaccines to 0 to 5-year-olds. There was no other reason why I had to get it out in March of 2022. And I didn't care how crazy it seemed. I didn't care how people wanted to look at it. I was going to let you know there was damn snake venom in them damn shots. And I don't know any kid who needs snake venom in their damn body. And that was really it. It was really it. I just needed to make sure they were safe, kind of like anybody who might fall victim to the deceit, lies, or the oversight of going and researching remdesivir. So now I'm the snake venom guy. Hardly ever hear about remdesivir anymore. Because now they call it by its brand name. Did you know that? So its brand name is Veklury, which is an old Nordic term that means chooser of the slain, by the way. All right, so we want to make sure everybody knows remdesivir rhymes with run death is near. Veklury means, chooser of the slain. Just avoid the drug. Just say no. You don't need it. Anybody who thinks you got COVID because you have a remdesivir deficiency, stand up. Yeah, one hand went up. We know who the sarcastic ones are. All right. This is going to be a little bit of a different topic, but I want to give some love first because I'm going to honor this entire conference in my attempt to do everything I've done for the last 4 years exhaustively. It's been very emotional, actually, to a few people. So I'm going to honor my wife's dad, who's passed. His name's Weldon Frederick. And we're going to honor him through every effort I've made for the last 4 years. Number two, there were actually medical doctors, I couldn't believe it, who actually were like, something's wrong here. Dr. Ardis, can you help us get people to be more focused on telemedicine, not go to those damn hospitals where they might get the drug? Sure. Remember one of the main guys that reached out to me was Dr. Zev Zelenko. Y'all remember him? All right, well, we're going to honor Zev Zelenko, who's passed away. Did he tell you to be afraid of COVID? Or go to a hospital? You need a hospital? No. He cured 10,000 people in his neighborhood in New York without a hospital, without remdesivir. Brilliant guy. Then I want to honor the late Dr. Rashid Buttar, who's become a very great dear friend to me. And then there's some people that who just don't give a crap what you say about them. And they're going to just speak for truth, humanity, and freedom. And I'll give you another example of a great human being who's been lost, who for a short period of time, I loved getting to know. That was Silk's sister, Diamond. And I'm honored that Silk and her husband John are here. Thank you for making that trip here. But those losses were not in vain, and if you want to know why this damn conference is happening right now, is because I don't want this stuff happening to the majority of people anymore around the world. You're losing people in their lives earlier than they should be, and there's reasons for that. The setup for why that was happening and why it is happening was all done by the 3 doctors that got up here before me. So this presentation today is going to be a little bit different. I kind of like the title, if you've seen it. I didn't actually create this title. It's titled, Ely came up with this title. It's called Chewing to Pooping. Did you see that? And to be honest with you, this is like the hardest presentation I put together. I was like, oh my God, I haven't talked about chewing and pooping for 4 years. Okay. So this was a foundational conference. I wanted day one of this conference to be restoring your faith in how God designed the human body. Why? Because I was never scared of COVID. Dr. Ely was never scared of COVID. Dr. Group was never scared of COVID. Dr. Janice Schmidt was never scared of COVID. And if you don't know something about all of them, they haven't even vaccinated any of their kids, and they're all adults or teenagers at this point. I mean, way before COVID. There's something about these individuals who knew before COVID ever happened, there's a problem, possibly, with this technology they're trying to suggest to you provides immunity. But yet they still weren't scared during a crazy pandemic with all kinds of insane propaganda and fear that was going on around the world. And they still weren't scared, and they still took care of their family, and every member of their family is still alive they took care of. And do you know that right now they keep talking about there's going to be another pandemic? There's a Marburg virus coming. Do you know that Marburg virus, do you know that Dr. Zev Zelenko, the month before he died, he texted me and he said, hey, Dr. Ardis, can you do me a favor? Can you make sure the world knows, in case something happens to me, that the world knows there's an antidote to the Marburg virus that's going to be coming out of China? And I said, sure, I'll make sure that happens, Zev. And he said, just tell them it's zinc. So if I die, make sure they know. And I said, okay, I'll do that, Zev. No worries. And then on the same phone call, I said, but Zev, can I tell you something? And he goes, yes. And I said, do you actually know what the Marburg virus symptoms are going to be from? And he goes, what do you think it is? Remember, he just died last June or July, right? And I said, I can already tell you what it is. I want you to print out Marburg virus symptoms in a human, and lay it out on a table, And then I want you to look up boom, slang, snake, venom side effects in a human and lay it right next to Marburg virus.
92, j'ai été installé des murs
He had never heard the word boom, slang, snake.
par de grippe.
I didn't want to know about boom, slang, snakes. But then I told him, I said, just so you know, there's 20 factories right now for the last 2 decades that have been manufacturing synthetic snake, boom, slang, snake venom for 2 decades. And where's this virus going to come from? China. And all these factories are in China. This is how they're going to orchestrate it. You're going to learn about how they do that. Every aspect of COVID-19, really COVID-19 symptoms, are actually every published side effect of neurotoxins and venoms. And that was a hard sell. See how the world reacted to that? All right. So let's get into this. I love you, by the way. Thank you for showing up. And we're excited to teach you. And I want to make this very clear. I have an hour and 8 minutes. I was actually asked to go to Kansas City a year ago. They only flew 2 people there, me and Peter McCullough. They gave me a ballroom. And as I'm flying there, I looked at my wife and I said, how long am I talking for? And what am I talking on? That's how this goes. How long and what all? And she goes, oh, I forgot to tell you. You're actually speaking for 6 hours tomorrow. And I was like, this is only like an hour flight from Dallas. I don't have time to build out a 6-hour presentation. But I actually spoke 6 hours straight. So when I say there's an hour and 7 minutes left, it's because there is so much in here and on there that ain't coming out here in an hour and 7 minutes. So when I said we're going to give you everything in here, everything in this presentation is coming to you. But I need to set the stage here. Is Judy Mikovits in the room? I actually said, after watch the water drop, stand up, Judy. She's right there. All right, watch the water drops. I'm freaking out, realize I'm going to be totally rejected by the entire world. Judy Mikovits is the human who was the first to send me a text and said this. Not a joke. Every time I speak, every stage I stand on, every radio show I do, every podcast interview I do, I'm going to tell the world how right you are about the venoms. And I was like, holy crap, there's one. There's one. There are a few medical doctors I've come to love. Like when Neely's out here yapping and want you to banish all of them from existence. That's not really how I feel, because there's been a few that, in my opinion, are the best orators, researchers, presenters, and at some point in their life, they woke up. And then they joined us. And it was phenomenal. Dr. Lee Merritt's back here? I think so. Where's Dr. Lee Merritt? Where is she? She's right here. A lot of people tell me they like listening to me and listening to me talk. She's my favorite to ever listen to. And that's a medical doctor, a surgeon, and you can trust her. I do. I trust her anything. Where's Dr. Angie Farella? She's an MD too and a pediatrician. Where is she? Oh, she's back here? That's another MD you can trust. What other MDs are in here? Any other MDs I didn't notice? Oh, you, stand up. I already trust you because you're sitting there. There's another one you can trust. Is there any others? Where? Oh, is Stella here? Hold up, stand up. Okay, I'll just say it. In Dr. Stella Emanuel, I trust. And I don't know if you've ever, honestly, I'm going to say this. I don't know if you've ever felt somebody pray before. Like you felt it. I have never felt anybody pray like she prays. Oh my God, the Spirit God is in that woman, and I would trust her with anybody at any time in my entire life. So when I say this, I want you to know I have great respect for people who are open to learning and respect and admire and love God and His creation over all else first. And these people embody that to me. So I want to make sure you guys don't all think I just hate them all. Because I don't. I was shocked to find out there was any I could like, actually. It was very odd. All right, so chewing to pooping. I just wanted to give my love and respect to those individuals. All right, so the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. This is a pretty bright guy named Thomas Edison. Who in this room thinks they have more patents than this guy? No, in this room.
Il semble à Sainte-Brigitte de Laval.
Who in this room has more patents than this guy in inventions?
Dans le trou de forme.
All right, he's pretty smart. Doctor of the future will give no what? No medication, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, which you've been learning about today, diet, and the cause and prevention of disease. Have you heard any causes today for disease? All right, so first, the doctor will give no medicine. Why is this important? The title of this presentation is Chewing and Pooping. What happens to the food when you eat it? I'm going to get to that. I need to set some really serious precedents to this conference in my presentation, okay? All right, so what's wrong with medicine? Edison says the doctor of the future will give none. Well, what's wrong with it? John Hopkins published this paper in 2016. Studies suggest medical errors are now the third leading cause of death in the United States. John Hopkins patient safety experts have calculated that more than 250,000 deaths per year are due to medical error in the U.S. Their figure, published May 3rd in the British Medical Journal, surpasses the CDC's third leading cause of death, respiratory disease, which kills close to 150,000 people. How many of you knew the medical profession is the third leading cause of death? In 2013, 611,000 people died of heart disease, 548,000 died of cancer, and 149,205 died of chronic respiratory disease, the top three causes of death in the U.S., putting this figure above respiratory disease. America's drug spending is number one in the world. The doctor of the future will give what? No medicine. America's drug spending is number one in the world for all countries worldwide. Now let's just set this for you. China and India have 1.4 billion people each. America has 300 million people. How is it possible when we only have 4.7% of the world's population in America, and India and China have 17% each? How are we spending more on drugs and healthcare than anybody else? How is that possible? They just don't have enough hospitals in India, China. No, that's not it. Did you know this? We only have 5% of the world's populations, but Americans take in their mouth and inject it in their body 50% of all pharmaceutical drugs in the entire world. The doctor of the future will give what? All right. The doctor of the future will interest his patients in the care of the human frame. What's the human frame? Chiropractic literally is care for the human frame. This is he wasn't a doctor originally. This is called D.D. Palmer is his name, Daniel D. Palmer. He's the one that discovered chiropractic. You'll see the years, 1845 to 1913. Chiropractic embraces the science of life, the knowledge of how organisms act in health and disease, and also the art of adjusting the neuroskeleton. This is his son, B.J. Palmer. Medicine is the study of disease and what causes man to die. Chiropractic is the study of health and what causes man to live. Our goal. Any chiropractors in here? Okay. Chiropractic must, this is B.J. Palmer, he's long gone. Chiropractic must unbrainwash the public and demonstrate that health comes from the inside out. I'm standing here, B.J. I'm trying. But first, we must unbrainwash the chiropractor, too many of whom have themselves not gotten the idea that the vertebral adjustment releases innate works in harmony and innate and becomes a partner with the innate God-given healing in effecting the cure. I find this very true. I was extremely devastated to hear how many chiropractors signed up for the COVID-19 shots. Really. Shame on you. All right, you saw this chart. Actually, I was surprised Janice Schmidt put this up. I already had it in my slide. Just so y'all know, we never even looked at each other's presentations. We had no idea what we were going to talk about. We just had titles. So this is actually a chart I had in every wall of my practice for 20 years. And it actually goes through. I'm going to highlight some of these because I want you to get it. When I would show this to patients who had never been to a chiropractor before, they couldn't believe this is what chiropractors did. So here we go. We're going to focus on the top 7 vertebrae of the neck called the cervical spine. I just blew it up. It's going to look a little fuzzy because I blew it up. All right. So you have 7 bones in the neck, and between each of those bones, between your skull and the first bone in your thoracic spine called T1, there are 8 groups of nerves. You'll see them, C1 through C8 nerves. See it? All right, you got C1 through C7. These are bones. These are the nerves, they call them. C1 through C8. They come from the brain through your spinal bones, and then they go to these organs and parts of your body to control their function. Your brain tells the entire body how to work. So these nerves come from the spine, and they tell these parts of your body how to work. If there's any pressure on these nerves, it reduces how much signal's getting to all of these things. You will have any of these symptoms. Follow me? How many people do you know and children do you know have asthma attacks and you're being told they're just albuterol deficient? I cannot tell you how many times I've adjusted a kid in the middle of an asthma attack and it stopped immediately. I mean, immediately. No fear, no worry, no panic, no nothing. How about high blood pressure? How many medical doctors prescribed a cervical adjustment to take care of your high blood pressure? Nope, they didn't. They told you to swallow lisinopril. 22 million of you this morning. How many of you know lisinopril is made from snake venom from a viper in Brazil called the Jaracus viper? And you all been swallowing snake venom from a viper, a snake in Brazil, since 1981. Even the medical doctors that were mad about my theory about swallowing venom in water, can't swallow venom. Stomach acid kills it. And I'd go, oh, really? You ever prescribe lisinopril? Yeah, ever? How'd you tell your patients to take it? They swallow it. Yeah. Does it go into the stomach acid? Yeah. Does it get past it? Yeah. Into the intestines? Yeah. Does it get into the bloodstream? Yeah. Did you know lisinopril is made from snake venom? And I'd make them look it up before they'd get off the Zoom call. And then they'd shut up. What's really amazing to me is the arrogance that people have when you are totally ignorant and uneducated. And you'll just defend an ideal when you've never known a damn thing about it. How many of you knew that Ozempic and Wegovy were made from Gila monster lizard venom? Do you think the FDA told you that? Google will tell you that. If you just type it in there and ask the question. All right, here's the thoracic spine. Thomas Edison said the doctor of the future is going to teach you the human frame. So I'm going to spend a few minutes teaching you that. I don't want to let him down. Okay. Thoracic spine here, there's 12 bones. There's 12 of them that are attached to all 12 of your ribs. That's the thoracic spine. Okay? So you got 12 of these bones. You got 12 nerves coming out between them, and they all control these muscles and organs in your body, including your diaphragm to breathe, your pancreas to make insulin, your spleen to help you detox, kidneys. Really? How many people with kidney problems like lisinopril, which has hydrochlorothiazide in it, to make your kidneys pee? How many doctors told you your high blood pressure might be caused by kidney stress from a thoracic misalignment? Nope. They didn't learn that in med school. They might have learned it in osteopathic school if they went there. All right, kidney problems, ulcers, gastritis. Oh, look at this, T11. Did you know that your rib cage has nerves that control the uterus's function? And just so you know, just to be clear, only women have uteruses. All right, now we're going to get down to the lumbar spine, 5 lumbar vertebrae. It's the part of this part of your spine most people know because of the lumbar parts of your seats. All right, 5 vertebrae in your low back, L1 through L5. They control the large intestines, buttocks, groin, your reproductive organs. Do you know how many people have come to me with infertility? We just adjusted them a few times. They actually get pregnant? Not 100% of them, but some of them did. But not a single infertility clinic told them to go get adjusted. I found that odd. Not really. All right, constipation, colitis, diarrhea as a result of any of those being out of alignment, you'll see there. Then when you get down here to the sacrum, which is the butt bone, you can have any of these issues, numbness in the legs, menstrual problems, bladder problems. Do you see the connection of God's creation, brain communicating with the rest of the body to tell it what to do? If there's any break in that connection, suppression, impingement on those nerves, that it could reduce the function of the organs and muscles they go to. Do you see it now? Good. I recommend everybody get adjusted once a month. If you don't know how to find a chiropractor, I'm going to make it real easy for you. There's a website called ChiroDirectory.com. You just plug in your zip code, and it will tell you all the chiropractors in the area. Please don't ask me which one is right for you. There's thousands of them. All right, Doctor of the Future will give no medicine, but will interest patients in the care of diet and in the cause and prevention of disease. So let's get to diet. Did you know diet? There's an Italian guy who wrote a whole book in the 1400s about the connection to food you eat, gut health, and then disease outcomes. This guy. I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce his name. I'm not Italian. That's his book, though. 15th century Italian high society became obsessed with his recommendations regarding the relationship between gastro-pleasure and health. Those are the Italian words for him on the cover. Then there was this guy named Luigi Cornaro, maybe, I don't know. In the 1400s to 1500s, they state here, it is How to Live 100 Years Discourse on the Sober Life, 1558, by that guy that continues to be cited today. That's a lot of years ago. I mean, I could try to do the math, but that appears to be hundreds. No, not hundreds. Decades. After realizing the risk he was taking with his self-indulgent lifestyle, this Venetian aristocrat adopted a frugal diet and lived to become a centenarian, meaning living past 100 years. His book makes reference to the ancient writers and thus revives the ancient Greek principles of moderation to show that a healthy lifestyle starts with a healthy diet. 1566. Okay. This guy lived to be 100 years old by managing his over-frugality with, or being frugal with his diet to improve his health long term. And you heard Dr. Henry Ely up here talking about, you're eating 3 meals a day, that's too much. Oh my God, we've all been conditioned to do that. What is the average lifespan? This guy was in the 1500s. Do you know what the average lifespan today for Americans is? Are we living on average to 100 years? We're obviously not doing what that guy did. You follow me? Do you agree? Here's the average lifespan of an American. Now, they broke out all 50 states. I just want you to recognize this. They have, the top one is above 79 years old. The rest of them are all lower than 79 years. So then I was like, well, you know, there could be some 100-year-olds on average, I guess, in the lighter blue one, because it only says greater than 79. So I went to this one. And it has every average lifespan for every state in America. There isn't one above 81 years old. Not one. So we're living 20 years shorter than the guy in the 1500s figured out how to live to 100 years old. What's the average lifespan today worldwide? Notice the highest number is 77 years to 81 years. Do you see that? Your lives are being cut short. Why? U.S. has the highest first-day infant mortality out of all industrialized world. America sucks the most at keeping babies alive for 1 day. Read it. New report reveals that the United States has the highest first-day infant death rate out of all industrialized countries in the world. Now I'd like to ask you, where's all your babies born? In America? Whew, are they getting it right? What the hell are they doing? How can they suck the most? I don't get it. 11,300 newborns die within 24 hours of their birth in America. Read it. That's 50% more first-day deaths than all other industrialized countries combined. The United States has the highest first-day infant death rate, and this is the chart they put in the paper. Look at that. The United States is at the bottom. Congrats. We're first at being last. This is actually the report. I just want to show you this. This is the document. Everything I'm going to show you, I am not somebody who ever comes out and talks about something where I can't show you where to find it. I am that show and tell guy. This is the document. With the link. U.S. infant mortality rate worse than other countries. This is different. This is actually, can you keep a baby alive for a year before it dies? U.S. infant mortality rate worse than other countries. In fact, more babies are dying before they turn 1 years old in the United States than in most of Europe and several other developed countries, a new U.S. government report says. There's your list of where we fall in the world being able to keep infants alive for 1 year. And look at the list of the countries above there. Pretty ridiculous. How does the United States rank in health outcomes? This is how healthy are we keeping everybody? All right, U.S. health system ranks last among 11 countries. The U.S. health system trails far behind a number of other high-income countries when it comes to affordability, administrative efficiency, equity, and we're going to focus on this one, and health care outcomes, according to a new Commonwealth Fund study. Since 2004, the U.S. has ranked last in every edition of the report, falling further behind on some indicators despite spending the most on health care. Since 2004, we rank the most. U.S. organizations failing us in our newborns. Jesus Christ said, "By their fruits ye shall know them." Not by their disclaimers. You want to know what their disclaimer is? The fruits I just showed you. Anybody got a question about what fruits means? What are they producing? More dead babies by day one than any other country. By 50% more than all the other countries combined. So by their fruits ye shall know them, not by their disclaimers. Do you want to know what the disclaimer is? U.S. organizations failing us in our newborns. The United States Health and Human Services, the NIH, the CDC, the FDA, and the AMA. Remember, U.S. ranks dead last in health outcomes per that Commonwealth Fund study compared to other countries. Do you know what country was asked to lead the global health strategy against the greatest health crisis the world's ever seen called COVID-19? What world? What country? It was us. Look, here's the document. U.S. COVID-19 Global Response and Recovery Framework, July 1st, 2001. The country that sucks the most in health outcomes, dead last for the highest income countries in the world since 2004, is going to now lead the global recovery effort for a pandemic globally. And what is this document? It came from the White House. The goals are on the right. I'm only going to read the first. If I can see this, accelerate widespread and equitable access to and delivery of safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines. Remember I told you their favorite disclaimer, safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective. The U.S. COVID-19 Global Response, this is inside their document. The U.S. COVID-19 Global Response and Recovery Framework also supports U.S. commitments to the G7 plan to defeat the COVID-19 pandemic in 2022. Did they do it? Oh no, they sucked at that too. Did the U.S. COVID-19 global response succeed to defeat the COVID-19 pandemic in 2022? Well, Biden's insider just revealed 2 weeks ago. You can expect full COVID restrictions coming. Lockdown will be worse than before. You can see the date down there. Just 2 weeks ago. This is expected to happen starting next week, by the way. So, did they end it in 2022? We're almost to 2024. All right, so the pandemic rolls on. U.S. failed again. But as the global leaders in the pandemic response, how did the United States fare at keeping their citizens alive during the pandemic compared to all other countries worldwide? All right, I want to, before I go any further, I want to make sure, are any of you confused by the title I put up here called Chewing to Pooping? Are you lost trying to figure out, is he talking about digestion of this booklet from the White House? What's he talking about? I'm setting the stage for what I'm about to tell you here in just a minute. You got it? All right, so how did we fare, the United States, leading the global health crisis efforts? Read line number 2 in the goals in this book from July 1st, 2021. The great United States of America pronounces. Number 2 goal is we are going to reduce morbidity and mortality from COVID-19. Really? That's number 2. They're going to reduce the deaths and the disease outcomes of COVID-19 in the cases more than any other country. That's what we're going to do. All right, so where did we fare? All right, so I want you to look at the title, the actual column that reads Total Deaths. When you click that title, Total Deaths, it aligns them in most deaths in the world to the least. I want you to tell me what country's number 1. All right. So they suck at keeping our babies alive past 1 day. They suck keeping our babies alive for 1 year. Their health outcomes are the worst among all high-income countries since 2004. And we had the most deaths in America compared to all other countries globally. I don't know about you, but my pride for the American healthcare system went down the damn toilet a long time ago. I would have rather been in Brazil, which was number 2. I'd have rather been in India. Oh, wait, let's see what else. Mexico. Man, it would have been better, way better to be in Mexico. Italy, Spain, Argentina. I guess they didn't stand 6 feet apart. They must have stood like 50 feet apart. That's how they did it. All right, so next question is, the United States is number 1 at failing to prevent and protect its citizens against the COVID-19 virus worldwide. We suck the most. All right, where did COVID-19 start? China. So let's see how the United States fared against China. China has 1.4 billion people. We have 330 million. So this is directly the statistics. The coronavirus, we had 107 million cases. And then that weird bat poop virus escaped China, came to America and the rest of the world. And we had 1,173,000 deaths. Do you know what China had? Where it started? I would have rather been in China. Holy crap, those communist China run by the communist regime protected their citizens better than we did? This is all honest. Now I'm just gonna give you a hint here. If you actually do believe China's out set to try to spread its communism fingers all over the world and take over all of our countries, do you really think China, who can only speak to people in their country, do you really think they would want all of their people to die to help them with their global takeover? No. Obviously, the United States didn't care. China was like, we're taking care of y'all. Do you know what China did in the first month of the pandemic in January 2020 that America never did? Ever. The Chinese government sent scientists into Wuhan to the hospitals with everybody who had the COVID-19 Wuhan virus, new pneumonia. And they asked the scientists to come up with a way to prevent all death outcomes from this pneumonia. And they published in January of 2020, you can go to orthomolecular.org and go read the article. These scientists said, we want you to just do one thing, inject their veins, all of them, with one substance at 25,000 milligrams up to 65,000 milligrams for 5 days. And 100% of them went home by day 5. And it was vitamin C. And then China, which actually makes the most ascorbic acid in the entire world, did y'all hear this? They actually took all the vitamin C they had and then they passed out all the vitamin C to their citizens and made them take it every day to prevent the pandemic. That's what they did. What did America do? We got these damn shots that are safe and effective, but we never tested them on anybody, but they're safe and effective. All right, here you go. Just look at the perspective, man. It's wild. I gave this a little bit earlier. The United States population, 340 million, 4.2% of the population, but we had 17% of the world's deaths. Whereas China, which has 17% of the entire world's population, look at the percentage of deaths they had. 0.07%, not even 1. All of us would have been way better off to be in some other country than here. America first. Again, it's sucking at healthcare. Who's responsible for your health and who are we supposed to trust to keep us healthy? Is it these guys? Are you convinced yet they suck? Oh my God, they suck. Now, there's something they're very good at, by the way. They're very good at lying to you. They're very good at not doing research, and they are very, very good at life-saving operations. If you're in a car wreck, just so you know, who's heard of ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine? It doesn't matter. Remember, those are drugs. We're not here to talk about drugs. But could you imagine somebody being shot with a bullet? Could you imagine Zev Zelenko going, hey, you just need some ivermectin or some hydroxychloroquine and zinc? No one would do that. It's ridiculous. If you're injured, go to a hospital, go to the ER. They excel and are top-notch at saving your life in a life-threatening emergency. If somebody took a pitchfork and stabbed you with it, please don't go to your chiropractor. Go to the ER. They will help you. I'm not ridiculous. We need them for like 1% of all the things we need them for. 90% of the time, you don't need them. Truly. First, let's trust God and his creation. Second, let's trust yourself. Thirdly, let's trust the doctors of the future. That's me. There's your doctor of the future. All right, this is supposed to be fourth grade education. Does this look fourth grade to you? I was really glad to see that Dr. Group and Elian Schmidt put up these really elaborate, really cool images. I was like, wow, that's not fourth grade. That's like sixth grade. This is like cartoonish. All right, there you go. Swallow, goes down to your esophagus, into your stomach, pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, then you poop. There's that little appendix they don't want you to think is necessary. Okay, I find this very funny. How many of you have heard a medical doctor say, you don't need your spleen, you don't need your gallbladder, you don't need your appendix? Really? Have any of you that believe in God, have you ever thought, well, why did God put it in there? Do you think he just had extra time on day 6 and was like, let's put a little finger on the appendix, or on the end of the large intestine. Let's put this thing called a spleen. No one's ever going to figure out what it is. So ridiculous. All right. Anyway, he didn't screw up. He got it right. They want you to think it is. Here's a very cool description if you want to see it. Some people already covered this, so I'm glad I don't have to. Here's 7 major functions of stomach acid. Thank you, Dr. Jockers, for these easy things. You already learned it. Antacids, just so you know, third expense overall for over-the-counter drugs in America. The third most amount of money we spend on drugs is for antacids in this country. And you're all told that it's because you have excess acid in your stomach. And in reality, it's 100% you don't have enough. But that's the lie. It's pretty funny. All right, so the esophagus transports food to your stomach after you swallowed it. There's a valve at the end of the esophagus controlling the entry of food to the stomach. This valve is known as the esophageal sphincter. You can see it right there. Cardiac sphincter or gastrosphincter. They're all the same things. If there's not enough acid in the stomach, the valve becomes more loose at the top and allows acid in the stomach to come up the esophagus to create acid reflux or heartburn. Watch this, because they all talked about it. If there is too much bad bacteria in the stomach and intestines, they release gases. Now, acid is supposed to be killing these bacteria. You don't have enough acid. You have so little acid that the actual bacteria is allowing to thrive in your stomach. They release the gas, which travels upwards to compromise the integrity of the esophageal sphincter that keeps food from going up into your esophagus, giving the patient an antacid does control these symptoms by severely blocking acid production, but it's not addressing the source of the problem. See the backflow there? So what happens? What causes low stomach acid? High sugar diets and mineral deficiencies. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. How long does it take to convert food to poop? Y'all want to watch this? It's only like 2 minutes. I actually don't want to watch it because I'm down to 36 minutes, but it's really quite funny. Do you guys know that you need to poop every day? Do you know that on the American Gastroenterologist Society of America, whatever it is, it actually states on there, it's normal to have a bowel movement every 3 or 4 or 5 days or once a week? Really? Okay. Yeah. Let's see if it'll play it if I hit it. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Never mind. We'll skip it. Y'all watch it at home. It'll be fun. It's a real simple little cartoon for 2 minutes. Tells you how long food stays in your body before you poop it out. All right, so basic concepts on food. We got to teach you about diet because Thomas Edison said so. You've heard about carbs. There's what are called big nutrients. You got carbs, fats, proteins, carbs. This is a real basic, easy 4th grade lesson. There's what are called good carbs and bad carbs. Do you see them on the screen? All right, carbs are in the breads. Carbs are in your veggies, fruits. Eat the ones on the right. Simple enough? Good. Okay, wait. Eat more often the ones on the right than on the left. I'm a realist like Dr. Group. But you're not doing that already. Good fats versus bad fats. Here's a list. See it? Avoid the ones on the right. Eat the ones on the left. Could I really make this any simpler for you? Do I really need to explain it to you? If you want to be sick and a part of the healthcare system statistics, eat the stuff on the right. If you want to hang out with us at the next Healing for the Ages conference, eat the ones on the right, not the left. Or actually, it's my left. Is it your left too? It's your left. Eat the ones on the left if you want to be here next year. If you want to be on high blood pressure drugs, cholesterol drugs, eat the ones on the right. This is very important. How many people have heard that cholesterol is bad for you? High cholesterol is bad for you. Cholesterol is bad for you. Oh my God, what a lie. Did you know that cholesterol is required to make hormones in your body? So when you take a statin or restrict fats, low-fat diet, you restrict fats, your liver now can't process those fats into what's called cholesterol. Did you know cholesterol is the backbone for most of your hormones to be made in your body? So guess what happens when you reduce the amount of cholesterol your liver can convert from fats? Here's a list of just some of the hormones that are made from cholesterol. Vitamin D is made from cholesterol. Did you know vitamin D was a hormone? Testosterone is made from cholesterol. So just watch this. You ready? They lied to you and said cholesterol was bad for you. There's certain levels of cholesterol that are bad for you, and cholesterol leads, as it goes higher, to an increased risk of stroke and heart attacks. That is a flat-out lie, by the way. I know they've been telling you this for years and years. That's a flat-out lie. All right, so cholesterol is required to even make testosterone. So if you take a statin drug, Lipitor and others, it's going to lower the amount of cholesterol your liver now can process from any fats you're consuming. When you lower cholesterol, you now cannot make the same level of testosterone you would have made if you had the cholesterol there to make it. So after you're prescribed Lipitor, you, man, are going to show up in the office about 6 months later and you're going to go, Doc, I can't even get it up. I'm not even interested anymore. I don't think about sex anymore. I don't even want to go to work anymore. Do you want to know why? You know what your doctor's going to say to you? How old are you? 45 years old. Oh yeah, at 40s, this is what happens. Testosterone goes down. You just need to get some testosterone injections or take testosterone. That's an easy fix. But that's not what they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you you need to take Viagra. And the whole reason why you need Viagra is because they put you on a drug that reduces the natural substance God made your liver design to create testosterone. You see this? They're writing a prescription for a drug to manage symptoms of the side effects of the drugs they already prescribed you. Do you see the racket? Benefits of progesterone. That's one of the hormones your body makes from this stuff. You see it on the left. Did y'all know that progesterone is the hormone that maintains pregnancy? Did you know that? Interesting. Progesterone does all this. Boosts immunity and energy, soothes the mood and rescues sleep, nourishes hair and clear your skin, lightens periods, reduces the risk of autoimmune disease, builds bones and muscle, reduces the risk of cancer. Maintaining full pregnancy, it is required that you have progesterone at normal levels to keep the placenta attached to the uterus. If you lose progesterone, the uterus peels away, and then you miscarry, or you're infertile. Cholesterol, progesterone hormone, conditions associated with progesterone deficiency. So anybody taking cholesterol drugs or eating a low-fat diet, you're going to actually develop these symptoms. PCOS, heavy periods, uterine fibroids. Sorry, I forgot the F. I didn't want to drop any F-bombs. Acne, hair loss, endometriosis, autoimmune disease, premenstrual syndrome, menstrual headaches, infertility, perimenopause, menopause, osteoporosis, and miscarriages. The benefits of having healthy testosterone from the cholesterol you make from fats you eat the way God designed you. All of those. I don't even want to read them. Although I do want to say this. Did you know that in a man, testosterone is called the motivation hormone? And do you know that when you women are attracted to these young men in their teenage years and high school and college years, these men had all these ambitions, and you're like, ooh, I want to travel with him. He wants to be an entrepreneur. He wants to go off and do stuff. He's going to be a surgeon. Oh, he's going to have vacation homes. And you're attracted to that. And then when they turn 45 years old, the wife's like this. Why are you in a recliner every night eating a TV dinner? What happened to the man I fell in love with? Why are you playing video games all day? What happened to that ambition of yours? Where's my damn Lexus you promised me? That's a lack of testosterone. They're destroying that. It's the motivation hormone, just so you know. Conditions associated with vitamin D deficiency, osteoporosis, asthma, heart health, inflammation, cholesterol, allergies, influenza, depression, type 2 diabetes, oral health, rheumatoid arthritis, cancer. Cholesterol is required to make many hormones. Avoid all statins in the future. And to learn more, read these books, or read this book, actually. I was going to put two. I only put this one because it's my favorite. The Cholesterol Hoax by a medical doctor named Sherry Rogers. Go read it. She'll give you all the research behind all the lies about cholesterol. In her book, she wrote, I'll just highlight this, complete with over 700 scientific references for evidence. I mean, I don't know, was one enough? There's 700. For no one can heal you, but you can learn how to heal yourself. This is an MD, by the way. Yes, having high cholesterol is one of the luckiest things that ever happened to you because it led you to this book which can save your life. COVID actually was a great wake-up call for the majority of you. There's a whole lot of people that weren't going to be woken up before that. All right, in the book, this is actually in the neurology book, or a medical journal, 2019, May 2019, lipid levels, fat levels, cholesterol is a lipid, cholesterol levels and the risk of hemorrhagic stroke in women. I want you to look at the conclusions at the bottom. LDL cholesterol, they call bad cholesterol, at levels less than 70, and low triglyceride levels were associated with increased risk of hemorrhagic stroke among women. The lower you drive cholesterol, the higher your risk for stroke and heart attacks become. But that is not what they tell you. However, you do know that heart disease is either the number 1 or number 2 cause of death in America every year, right? So as they lie to you about cholesterol and drive your cholesterol levels down, then they're going to blame heart disease killed you when in fact they were giving you something to assist that the whole time. What does poop say about your health? Remember, I kept this on a 4th grade level. It's going to be fun. I actually considered, like Maria over here, this lady over here named Maria sends me these crazy poop pictures all the time. All right, real poop. I actually thought about putting real poop pictures in here, and I was like, I don't know, that might be a little too much for you guys before dinner. All right, black poop, what does that say about you? Iron supplements you're probably taking, or bismuth medication like Pepto-Bismol. Or there's bleeding up in your higher GI tract. Green poop, it's totally fine. Or it's telling you you're eating a ton of green veggies like spinach. Popeye's poop was green. Looks like neon green Play-Doh. That's likely caused by artificial colors, from drink mixes, bakery frosting, or frozen novelties. What does red poop look like, and why is it there? Beets. If you're eating a whole bunch of beets, cranberries, red gelatin, or tomato juice, or it's a sign of a colon cancer or digestive disorder. Now, if you're eating beets, cranberries, red gelatin, or tomato juice, and you get red stools, do you really think you need to run off to go get an endoscope or a colonoscopy to find out if you got cancer? Why don't you just stop eating so much of that food and see if it goes away? It's very easy. Yellow poop. Anybody here ever had yellow poop? I want to know. Seriously, raise your hand. I've never had it. I'm kind of interested to see it. That means you're eating too much fat. And the fact that nobody raised their hands in here, the American Medical Association and the pharmaceutical industry has done a phenomenal job teaching you to avoid fats. Seriously. It's an evidence of eating too much fats. Malabsorption, sickness, food intolerance, or diseases. Pale stools. Your body isn't producing bile. The liver makes the bile, goes into the gallbladder. Gallbladder spits it out every time you eat fats. An infection or that your bile duct is blocked, a side effect of meds. What about pebble poop? You ever seen this? I've actually had this. I'm not ashamed to admit it. This actually means you're constipated, and the poop, the big stool, is sitting up in your colon getting all dried out, and then little bitty pieces will just fall out of you. It looks like little deer and rabbit poop. This is what it looks like. I decided to show you a 4th grade image. That's what it looks like. And the causes for that are all listed there. You guys can learn that at home. Everyone should read and own these 2 books. Now, I want to set this here. I actually went off to med school to go be a medical doctor. That's what I wanted. And then some medical doctors gaslit me on some stuff, and I actually walked away from that and went to chiropractic school. And in the 2nd month of chiropractic school, I kept hearing these people say, my professors, the innate intelligence of the body governs healing. And every time they said that, I was like, what is wrong with you people? What is this, some kind of weird witch doctor voodoo crap? What do you mean innate intelligence? Yeah, there's this governing universal intelligence. The body just heals itself on its own. It's designed to do that. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are going to drive me crazy. And I walked out of chiropractic school, went to Southwestern Medical School, applied during my lunch break, got accepted, and then decided, well, I already took out the loans. Maybe I should just finish the semester. But I'm not going to take a note. I'm not going to do anything. These crazy whack jobs just took me for tens of thousands of dollars for the first semester. I just sat there and I listened.
I've been an organic regenerative farmer for my whole adult life. And so I've helped a lot of people know how to grow their own gardens. In fact, I prefer to teach people how to grow their own gardens because I'd like them to do it and get all the microbes and everything all over themselves to help them stay healthy. And knowing that, and you guys talking about people growing their own gardens, we know the chemtrails are full of stuff, our water's full of stuff, and so what do you guys suggest for those of us that are growing our own food to do to clean everything that we're growing, because all that stuff is, coming down through our water and our skies?
That's a great question. And I'll probably let Dr. Janice Schmidt answer that one.
Okay.
But I need to say something. They have been working for decades, spending billions of dollars to poison you in the air, the water, the food, the drugs, and injecting your children from the time they were born. Do you know that during this COVID-19 pandemic, they spent over $20 billion in the last 20 years developing the COVID-19 weapon and the vaccines? And 99% of you all survived? So when you talk about this stuff, they were telling you everybody's going to die, everybody's going to die. No, you weren't. And no, you didn't. Could you imagine the big slap in all their faces that their weapon they spent billions of dollars on, figuring out how to get it to you in the air, water, and food, that it didn't work? They should have all been fired, I hope. Oh man, what a disappointment. Okay, go ahead, Jen. So I just want you don't have to worry. God created something greater than what they're creating. Go ahead.
Yes, awesome. Thank you. Perfect. So I thank you. Did everyone say thank you to Dr. Ardis for that amazing presentation?
Thank you.
I mean, thank you so much. I loved it. I was taking notes. So about that. So the natural soil and the plants have a remarkable way of simple as sunflowers will suck up the radiation in a garden. So you get natural soil, you get vermiculture, composting, it's going to do it by itself. It's going to remove those toxins, and then our bodies do the same thing too. So I don't think it's that much to worry about.
I wasn't really worried, but I thought other people might wonder about that.
Thank you.
Because
Yes.
they didn't know like what I know about microbes and everything.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
I would add that most of the organic farms, believe it or not, are still using tap water to water their. We've been trying to work with getting that law changed for years, but they're just very restrictive of that because they want to keep putting that acidic and all those chemicals in. So if you're farming the water, it's extremely important to use a really high-end purified water and structured water, so you're not refeeding all of those chemicals back in. And then electroculture also, we went from organic farming to biodynamic farming with Steiner stuff, and now we're moving into what's called quantum dynamic farming. And that's where you're gonna have your electroculture, you can have your cloud busters that are in there, and even like Dan Carlson's work with the sonic bloom, with playing the frequencies of the birds. What's happened is a lot of the bees, a lot of the butterflies have been killed off because of the glyphosate and everything. So the ecosystem, the full ecosystem is messed up. Dan Carlson recorded birds singing actually will open the stomas of the plants, and the plants can get their nutrients from the air instead of getting a lot of those nutrients from the soil, and they can get the distilled water from the air. So using sound and using frequencies and water is really going to be a really positive change for anybody who's doing any gardening, and the electroculture as well.
And I can attest to that because I've used Dan Carlson stuff for most of my farming years, and I've seen the differences that happen. So I hope you guys all heard that and look up Dan. He's not alive anymore, but it was an amazing thing the way he started it all, which I don't have to tell you because I want somebody else to ask a question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I do think he is still alive.
His son is.
He's alive in everything that you do to carry on the work that he does.
true.
That's how we all live forever, when we share that kind of love. Thank you for doing that. Amen.
Well, first of all, thank you, Dr. Ardis, and thanks for everyone. It's truly amazing to be here. I just have a question regarding eczema. So I was wondering if there's any natural remedy or treatment to help with that?
Yeah, so let me just answer that real quick. So the question is about eczema. Anybody know anybody with eczema? All right, so inside the human body, there are multiple things that can cause eczema. The skin is actually an extension, a continuation of your digestive tract. Your mouth turns into your esophagus, but your mouth turns into your lips, and your lips turn into what? Your face. Your anus turns into the skin of your rear end, turns into the skin on your legs. It's all one organ. So whatever's in your gut is causing inflammatory reactions at the skin. The skin is very telling of what's wrong in the body. So parasites, fungus like candida, major. You know what I learned? I'll teach you guys tomorrow. It's actually published that venom in the human body in any mammal causes eczema and psoriasis. Oh, and just so you know, how many people are sucking down lisinopril made from snake venom, and how many of them have psoriasis and eczema and are now on Humira? And Humira on every commercial says, what does everybody need to know first? Cardiac arrest and death can happen from taking Humira. That means kids 18 to 30 that they gave the drug to in clinical trials died from the drug. Interesting. Parasite infections, toxins, fungus, bacteria, venoms all cause eczema.
So you
and
need
we'll
to
teach you about
detox
that.
and
Also, yeah, and then they're aggravated
deworm?
by foods, right? Dairy, soy, corn. We've seen that irritate it, but that's usually because the microbiome is all messed up in the gut by those bugs that are already present.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Again, just wanted to say I enjoyed the heck out of today. Just, awesome. I wanted to, before I get into my question, I wanted to ask Dr. Group if tomorrow, would you be going into the regenerative cloud busting technology a little bit? Is that on your radar tomorrow?
The what technology?
The cloud busting, you touched on that a little bit.
What I just said, the cloud busting
Yeah.
technology? Well, I will be going into that a little bit, yes. I will be going, not in depth, because there's just so much to report on what's really currently going on with the nanotechnology and what they're using and, and all that stuff. But that's something that's important, and maybe I do have some stuff that we can potentially post on the website, because we want to put all the research that we've gone through so everybody can read it and everybody can look at it. And even the solutions part, because ultimately when you're doing all that research, what you're trying to do is figure out what they're doing and then figure out how to counter each part of what they're doing. Like, okay, they're attacking the DNA. What do we do to counteract that? They're infesting us with parasites and modifying those parasites in bacteria and organisms in our body. How do we take care of that? How do we disable the nanotechnology that they're using? How do we, how do we protect ourselves from internally and externally from the frequencies that they're using? Exactly. So we actually put together a whole guide that's even too long to talk about that we're going to give everybody for free on, the clear window film you can put on your house to block 99.99% of the frequencies. Paint you can spray on the roof of your attic so they can't penetrate into your home. I mean, all the things from cell phone protectors to how to protect yourself in your home, your body, internally, that we can find. And I'm sure there's many other things. I mean, we had to narrow it down. Like, we found there's so many different ways to heal, but it can be so overwhelming. There's 100 herbs that can work to neutralize venoms. Yeah. But we don't feel comfortable saying, okay, take these 100 herbs for this, take these 100 herbs for this, take these 100 herbs for this. So we have to choose by analyzing each individual natural recommendation, which one is going to be. We try to narrow it to like the top 5 out of 100 for each thing.
Effective and accessible.
Yeah,
accessible, effective, and not really super expensive.
Awesome. Yeah,
at the same time.
Because the technology, when you talk on electroculture, and you talk about cloud busting, that also teaches a little bit about the organ technology that feeds into that. And I just think it's like, oh yeah, please, let's talk about that. But to my questions, I wanted to circle back on the water discussion. So, what about alkaline water? Is that like a lightning rod? Because it just seems controversial. Everybody was talking about it and then stopped talking about it. I was on board until I read that it directly interferes with stomach acid. And so I'm kind of like, what is it between alkaline water, distilled water, reverse osmosis? That's kind of where I'm throwing out to the group. The whole water discussion is going to
be handled tomorrow with Dr. Ely's presentation.
Gotcha. And
just remember,
water.
Animals live on this planet and have for millennia, and there hasn't been a single ostrich that's gone looking for alkaline water. And they're still around.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Men
my mom
make
and I
it
are going to have a
complex.
huge conversation because she swears alkaline water is the thing, and I'm like, no, Mom.
Have you ever heard the arguments, right? Like, you can only eat the white of the egg, That's the only part good for you. The yolk of the egg's bagged for you. You can only eat it scrambled. You can only eat it raw. You heard these arguments?
Yeah.
You ever watch lizards on National Geographic? They crawl into a bird's nest. I've never seen a lizard only eat the white.
Yeah.
Never seen them only eat the yellow.
Awesome.
But it'd be funny if they watched our TV commercials or HGTV or Food Network. That'd be pretty funny. I've been doing it wrong this whole time, Billy. It's only the white.
So yeah, you guys are going to go into a deeper stretch on that tomorrow?
Yeah, we're going to go over all the water concepts tomorrow. Dr. Ely will touch on this.
There's misinformation even in our realm. There's misinformation in the big pharma and the allopathic, but there's also a lot of misinformation in our realm. We have transitioned right now to where the majority of the natural medicine companies have been purchased by big pharma subsidiaries, venture capitalist firms, and private equity firms. There's a mass plan to consolidate. You guys have seen this happening with everything. The big companies are trying to own it all. You have BlackRock and everything. I get at least 3 or 4 offers a week from private equity and BlackRock and all these people to buy our company. They're trying, and the big pharma has known this for years. I met with a whistleblower with big pharma it was like 2003 or 4. And he said, big pharma has already had plans in their future projections to buy all the natural stuff. They're just waiting until it gets to a certain point to where it's profitable for them and enough people actually start believing in it. So then they'll own the pharma and the natural. And that's what we've seen happen over look at many of you have taken what you thought were the good companies that started nutritional supplement companies that have now been bought out by big organizations, Nestle and all these corporations. And there's, even a lot of the natural products out there still have toxic fillers, excipients, binders in them, and they're using man-made synthetic vitamins and synthetic minerals and nutrients that will create a damage in your system. Do you know 90% of the supplements, we just did a survey a couple months ago, 90% of the supplements right now that people are buying in the United States are being bought from drugstores and grocery stores. So people are getting misinformation about this or this is good for you, and then they're going to their drugstore and buying the cheapest synthetic stuff that's actually clogging their system up and making them even worse.
And this is why we see the shelves filled now with alkaline water, high, coming from here. It's like they're pushing it. Filter your own water, put a little lemon in it. That's perfect.
Yeah,
that's
the
our own
stage that I'm
alkaline
at
water,
now.
right?
But I'm like, dude, I'm ready to run out and get a distiller. What do I got to do?
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Now we got 11 minutes till the break.
Thank you so much for the simplicity, Dr. Ardis. Well, all of you, really. My aunt has been told by her doctors to limit her salt, and she avoids it by all means. Now, she's been doing some earthing lately, so she's found that her blood pressure has decreased because of that. But she's also been diagnosed with congestive heart failure. And she's been having some problems like with breathing. She had a bout in the hospital where there was buildup of fluid in the lungs. So do you have any advice?
Yeah, we're going to teach you everything about detoxifying your body, healing the body through food. That's what the whole conference is about. So in this case, these are just manifestations of a myriad of symptoms because she's toxic and hasn't detoxed enough.
Okay, good.
And been educated on what to put in that's not going to add to those toxins.
Thank you.
Oh, and just so you know, you've all been lied to. Congestive heart failure can be reversed.
Can I throw one thing on there too, real quick? I have a great question for the cult of Asclepiites out there who talk about nutrition. How many hours of education did you get in nutrition in your 6 years of education? On average, you can go to NIH, National Academy of Sciences, publishes every couple of years, right? Doctors at the best, and this is in about 25% of the medical schools, at best get 19.6 hours of nutritional education throughout their entire 4 to 6 year curriculum. That amounts to a weekend workshop. They're not qualified to talk about nutrition, just like I'm not qualified to talk about neuroscience. No, give it up. Let me say it again so I can get the applause. They're not qualified to talk about nutrition, okay? So why would you take advice from someone who's not qualified? Let me make one quick point here, folks. Does she look good?
Excellent.
Right?
Excellent.
Right? Does he look good?
Yes.
This dude look good? Do any of us look like we are in a poor state of health? The greatest advertisement for health is the human body. Why would you go to a doctor who has 19.6 hours of nutrition and is 50 to 70 pounds overweight telling you what you should and should not eat? That don't make no damn sense, okay? So how about we all agree to this? Stop doing it, okay? You just stop.
We'll do the next one. And I want to summarize. This is very evident, actually. If you have a loved one that's ever been put on a blood thinner, like Coumadin, you know your medical doctor will say to you, once you start taking this drug, you cannot eat these vegetables. Do you know why they say that? Do you know what the vegetables do? They thin your blood. Wouldn't it be amazing if they just told you, you don't need this drug. You just need these veggies. They're worried if you eat the veggies, it's going to thin your blood even more. But did they ever tell you to try that first? This is the limit to their knowledge. And the only reason why they said that actually is because the pharmaceutical rep came in and said, this is a brand new Coumadin. And in that pamphlet it says, make sure you tell your patients not to eat veggies. So ridiculous. All right, go ahead. Thank you.
Dr. Ely, you set up the stage just right for my question. I want to know what can my husband do to reverse male baldness?
Male pattern baldness? What's wrong with being bald? No, for real.
Nothing.
Right.
But you have beautiful hair, so.
Thank you. That's really sweet of you. Right? But here's some things we just learned. We've been all investigating red light therapy the last couple weeks, and Dr. Ardis found a helmet, right? Wasn't it? Yeah. Well, you can.
There's a helmet. I said it.
There's a helmet. There's a helmet that you wear at night for red light therapy that helps to reverse it. But one of the things you have to really listen to with Dr. Ardis is him talk about the venoms and how they attach to the receptors, even of the hair follicle, and that might be doing. So it still comes down to the principles of detoxification, clearing things out of the system. And then when you do use something like red light, you might get some regrowth. But again, here's the thing. If you were born bald, do you think a baby has a problem being bald? Right? Honestly, right? Right? So we got to be comfortable in the uniforms we're issued. And those issued uniforms change over the years. So what we do is we do the best we can to keep them up so they feel good, and we place feeling good above looking good or some kind of vanity or something like that, right?
And I will say, if you actually study acupuncture, they tell you that male pattern baldness is actually caused by kidney energy deficiency. So to feed the kidneys, that can actually bring it up.
I love what you said. And to be the best person that you're supposed to be, and whatever that looks like, is to be healthy and to be detoxed and get good nutrition. And I will say, for me, it's always bee pollen because it's God's multivitamin. I'm going to speak about that tomorrow. But I've seen over the years what's in bee pollen. The nutrients are so well balanced and the body gets so nourished that hair does. Lots of people don't lose their hair. And like, okay, me, for example, I've never colored my hair, and I should definitely be gray by now. With my age, I should have gray hair. I've never colored my hair, and it still just keeps growing and growing, and at my age also, it shouldn't be growing like this. So I see this over and over with people like that doesn't gray as fast, it stays full, it stays healthy, it grows really fast. And this is just great nutrition, and for me, that's bee pollen.
Bee pollen. Bee pollen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, guys. Christian from Canada. Your conference is off the charts. Thank you so much.
Thank God.
My question might be a primer for tomorrow. We have God-given senses. Some of our senses of smell are better than others. Some of our body odors have changed since 2021. To me, it's an indication of clear and present danger. Urine, excrement completely changed. Maybe you can elaborate today or tomorrow.
Sounds like your body's getting rid of things that shouldn't be there.
It's completely changed.
Every part of your physiology is being engineered and changed. I'm going to show you tomorrow. But you're right.
Does it smell good?
I'm wondering, does it smell like roses now?
Good or bad?
That would be awesome. Man, honey, stay in there a little bit longer. Don't flush yet. That's amazing.
You ever smell what snake venom smells like?
Is that what pheromones are? Woo.
Hi guys. So I see a lot of in the natural world, a lot of people talk about type 2 diabetes. Any thoughts on how to address type 1?
How what?
How to address type 1 diabetes?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna show you tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, good. Perfect.
You know, during the pandemic, they have studies where they were actually creating type 1 diabetics in less than 24 hours in animals, and then reversing it in 24 hours in animals with the same exact venoms they found in every COVID-19 patient.
Huh.
I'll show you.
Okay, great presentations today. Thank you very much. Dr. Group, can you talk about Tesla bowel protocol that I spoke with you about earlier, the Tesla bowel?
Oh, yes. I'll do that real fast. So basically, Tesla met with a guy in 1898. His name was Dr. Eugene Bloss to develop, Tesla's goal was to develop a gut health product that could be used on a regular basis. We know that, using some of the herbs long-term can have negative effects. He wanted to do something that was an oxygen-based intestinal cleanser. The normal bacteria, the facultative strains that we should have, can survive in an aerobic and anaerobic state. So what he did was he bound, through this specific process, a monatomic oxygen or reactive oxygen species to a magnesium molecule. He chose magnesium because of the outer lattice, and the reason he chose magnesium oxide was because it wasn't a magnesium product. He didn't want to deliver magnesium, and magnesium oxide is really not going to be broken down well at all as a good form of magnesium. But the outer shell of the magnesium oxide was perfect, the way it was latticed, to be able to stabilize a monatomic oxygen onto that. So he spent time doing that, and he came out with a product which was an oxygen-based cleanser, and then it just kind of faded away. I ended up God just put it in my lap, basically, when I was working with the Tesla team in the mid 2000, somewhere around 2000, and so we ended up with the formula, his original formula, and so then we just recreated it and called it Oxy Powder. So that's probably one of our best-selling products for years, and that's just it's just absolutely amazing at what it does.
I've taken that product. It's great. And is it something that you would take every day?
I don't really like taking something every day because the body becomes dependent on it, but I feel like maybe once or during a cleanse for 6 days or something, if you really want to clean everything out. And here's really the beauty of it. Because we end up with so much compacted and putrefied and all kinds of stuff that can just build up and harden in our intestines. You can look at x-rays and see pieces of gum stuck in there, and you ask the person, when you chew gum? And they say, no, I stopped chewing gum like 15 years ago, but the gum is still stuck in their intestines on the x-ray. So you need something that's going to turn a solid matter into a liquid or a gas through an oxidation reduction reaction, and you're not going to get that with herbs or fibers or anything like that. They're not bad, but you're not going to get an oxidation reduction effect all the way through the bowel. So that's why it converts that solid matter into a liquid or gas and gets it all out of the system. And it gets up into the crevices because you're using oxygen.
That dude is really smart.
We get to listen to this every day, folks. This is awesome.
That's right. All right, so thank you very much. That's all the questions for right now.